Alright, I'm told I am live. Seems like I'm in a tough spot here. So, I better start over. And we're gonna get going in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. This is the NES version of Ghosts and Goblins. I am Error72. So first thing I did was I power cycled the console. That allowed me to reset the RNG, which I just totally screwed up, but I don't care. I totally forgot what I was supposed to do. It's okay, I'm still on the good RNG. So this is Ghosts and Goblins. It's considered one of the hardest games on the NES. Not really that scary. There's actually no enemies named Ghost nor Goblin in this game, so it's kind of a little bit of a trick. But basically, I power cycled the console, so I know where all of the enemies are going to spawn for the first couple of levels of the game. So, me jumping over zombies, it's easier when you know where they're all coming from. A couple things you want to know about this game is that when you jump, you cannot change your momentum while jumping. So if I jump to the left, I can't just, do mid-air pause. Secondly, you can only have 2 shots on screen at the same time, unless you have the dagger. Everyone loves the dagger, but I'm not going to have that for a little bit. So stage 2, I'm going to try a pretty new trick. I'm not super consistent with it, but I'm going to try it anyway. Make the level go about 10 seconds faster if I nail it. It looks pretty cool when I do. And I screwed it up. I got the hard part and screwed up the easy part. I got stuck on the ladder. Well, whatever. We'll go pick up the safety armor, because I need it for the damage boost that's coming up. Usually this house is really hard, but we're going to skip most of it. No, we're not going to skip most of it. We're going to be an idiot. We're going to do all of the house. I'm choking. Let's try that again. So I was on the good RNG seed. Now everything's a bit more random for me. That should be okay. I'll just have to do things the way you're supposed to. I haven't died there in a long time. So, we're going to try and set up a damage boost up here. Going to try and get a bird to spawn high up here. Knock us over the wall. Let's just skip the rest of the house. There's some platform manipulations you can try here, but they're pixel perfect, and if you mess it up the wrong way, you die. And that's a bad thing, so we'll try and keep things a little bit marathon safe since I've already screwed up once. So these bosses, it's a double boss. They're called unicorns. Most pretty looking unicorns you've ever seen, right? They shoot fireballs out their armpits, they jump in reaction to you firing shots at them, and if you leave them alone for long enough, they charge you and they kill you. Bad things happen. Either way, they take, I think it's 8 hits to kill. So they're not too difficult. So since I screwed up level 2, I had to take that early section with the bats a little bit slower. Normally I'd still know exactly how they would spawn. Kinda hoping for an axe drop there just to show off. So this is a blue section of level 3. One of the more difficult spots of the game, I think, because a lot of people don't know how to actually fight red armors. Apparently I don't either. I keep forgetting all of the manipulations. That's okay. We got safety armor here. I'm not too proud to take safety armor in Ghosts and Goblins. So the boss of this level is a dragon. And there's one thing about bosses in this game, and that each boss is immune to a particular weapon. And in this case, the dragon is immune to the lance. So if you have the lance, you have to pick up the torch. Everyone's favorite weapon. Dragon takes 6 hits to kill to the head. You can kill the body parts for points, but that's slow. The torch arcs up a little bit when you shoot it. You can have 2 shots on screen at once. If you miss and the torch hits the ground, it flares up, and that still counts as you shot being on screen. So there's a couple of enemies and bosses that are difficult to kill with the torch if you miss. So you generally don't want to miss with the torch. This level 4. Getting into level is a little breather level. Level 4 is a breather level. Got a little bit of a platforming section here. Not too hard if you know what you're doing. If you fall, you get a free 1-up, and then it's just faster to die. The spirit section, I am going to ignore every imp that spawns behind me. They're not a threat behind me. If I kill some of the imps behind me, more of them spawn in front of me, and I don't want that, so yeah. We'll let the dragon wake up. It's sort of a marathon. Safe strat. If I wake the dragon up myself with a shot, he does a random pattern, and there's a couple of patterns that are just, screw you, you're going to die. But if I let the dragon wake up on his own, he does the exact same pattern he did in level 3, which is extremely safe. If I timed my shots correctly, I could have done a quick kill that way too, but unfortunately I didn't. So I'm going to try a new damage boost here. Pick up this money bag, so the top platform spawns because I didn't kill anything down below. So that damage boost is pretty new, and you may notice that no bad guys have spawned. Not a single one after the damage boost. So it makes this level free. Almost free. You still have the boss. The first person to pull or find out you can do that in a live run was Stuck in a Plate, who currently holds the Loop 1 world record. I still hold 2 loops. But it makes things a lot better. You can soft lock the game there. When you pick up the key, you can actually start going down the ladder. If you go down the ladder to the level below, you soft lock the game in level 5. You can also do it in level 6, the level I'm in right now. But you don't soft lock the game then, you just have to wait 5 minutes for Arthur to find the exit. But since I'm sure Fiesel wants to start Final Fantasy before midnight, I won't be doing that. So there's another new damage boost coming up that I'm going to try. I'm not as consistent with it as I'd like, but I'm going to try it anyway. And I got trolled. Rip. I was a little bit too deep to the left. I thought I was far enough right I could jump to the right earlier than normal. But I was too far left, so I needed to jump or go higher one more level. Which kind of sucks, but... oh well. Can't win them all. This is Ghosts and Goblins. Ghosts and Goblins isn't meant to be easy. So I don't want to spend... if you do that part right, it's actually probably a little bit easier than the route I'm taking now, the intended way. But, like I say, I'm not as consistent with it as I'd like to be. So I'm going to take the normal route and just fight everything going up the tower. And hope a burrito doesn't spawn in my hitbox. I actually think the proper name for the burritos is spirits, but they look too much like burritos to call them not a burrito. So here's a nice boss strat found by Squarewave. You make PJ running the arcade version a little jealous. But basically, if you make it to the corner there, the properties of the shield, which I picked up, you need the shield to beat the final boss. Which here's the final boss. So get ready on time, right? But you need the shield to beat the final boss. If you don't have the shield for the final boss, you get sent back to level 5. Instead, when you beat the final boss with the shield, you get sent back to level 1 for Loop 2. So, Loop 2. Pretty much the same as Loop 1. There's a few little subtle differences. Well, not too subtle. Most enemies are faster. Areas with randomly spawning enemies, like this, the zombie section, they spawn more often. Birds are jerks. I don't know how I didn't kill the bird. But that's okay. I got the dagger now. That's all that matters, right? Dagger does the same amount of damage as all the other weapons, except you can have 3 shots on screen at once instead of just 2. So it's considered probably the best weapon in the game from a casual perspective. Some of the bosses are actually easier to kill with the torch. So, just because the torch arcs up. But I'm going to try and keep my dagger for a little bit at least. So I'm sucking it up, but luckily for me, the game has infinite continues. Getting in the burrito section was a little bit scary. Arthur cannot swim like every other Nintendo hero. Although it kind of makes sense if you fall in the water with your armor. Armor's kind of heavy. But fall into the water with your boxers, you just die. Doesn't quite make sense. but whatever. So loop 2, there's not really any manipulations that have been found yet. If you do loop 1 perfect, theoretically loop 2 will also have the same patterns. But 1, no one has actually spent the time to find out those patterns, and 2, I did not do loop 1 perfect, so yeah. So I'm going to take the same damage boost we did in Loop 1. It's just so much faster to get through the house that way. Unfortunately, there's no extra safety armor after this, but if I do the bosses right, I should be okay. Try and get the platform reversed, and I failed miserably, so up to the top we go. So hopefully I get 3 hits on the first boss here. If he jumps early, bad things happen. I am surprised I died there. This is horrible, guys. I'm sorry. Practicing off-stream for 2 hours does nothing! Oh, but salty after that. It's okay. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Still underestimate, maybe. That's why you should never set your estimate to 25 minutes for Ghosts and Goblins. Always set it for 30, even if your PB's at 19. So round 2. I'm gonna win this time. That's a little bit better. Yeah, my PB for 2 loops is 19 minutes and 34 seconds. And that's with the death and level. So, sub 19 is possible. You just gotta be playing a little bit better than I am right now. Zombies are proving good blockers for the tower. You can only hurt the towers when they are glowing red. And they take 4 hits to kill, so you need good timing to one-cycle them. Mashing doesn't work in this game. If you mash, you generally fire your weapon slower than you possibly can. So I keep trying to time my button presses for my weapon. Sometimes I'm a little bit too quick and no shot comes out, which makes me sad. So you may think I'm crazy picking up the torch here instead of keeping the dagger. But like I said earlier, the torch arcs up a little bit. So it's actually a little bit easier to kill the dragon with the torch faster than it is with the dagger. I wish I had double jumps in this game. You don't have double jumps in this game. So I showed it off in loop 1, but weird things happen when you duck. So this is one of those games when you duck, you actually have to let go of the down button to start moving again. If you do like a quarter circle and try and start moving again, it doesn't work, and I've died plenty of times doing that. Oh, the wraparound hitbox is screwing me out of the quick kill. Damage boost also works in loop 2 of level 5. So we're gonna go for it again, because this makes the level much faster and easier. Pick up this money bag just to make absolutely sure the top platform spawns. If you don't kill enough enemies downstairs before you do the damage boost, sometimes this top platform does not spawn. And I know for sure it'll spawn now, because one of the official name, Big Men, spawned in instead. So, but after that it's smooth sailing. Just don't fall, it's a long ways down. Oh, that was a little close. Oh, we made it. Satans take 8 hits to kill. Not too difficult in loops 1 and 2, if you know how to manipulate the shots. So I'm not going to try the elevator damage boost in loop 2. I've landed it once, ever, in about 20 tries. And that was after I died 3 times trying to get it. It is possible, but very, very difficult. And since I'm running up on my estimate anyway, I'm not going to try it, because Fiesel would like to start Final Fantasy before midnight. Be a little bit safer here. There's a damage boost strat that lets you skip the next floor a little bit easier. But it's not free, so I didn't want to go for it, and I almost died anyway. It's the hardest armor in the game to kill, because you don't get your 2 free hits in. Boss strat also works in loop 2. It's not quite as safe as it is in loop 1. I have died pulling off that strat in Loop 2 if both bosses fired exactly the same time. You don't always get both shots blocked. So, final boss time again. He's one of like 3 enemies in Loop 2 that does not actually get harder, and that's time. Horrible run, and we're still under estimate. I'll count that. No, I won't count that as a win because I sucked, but. Whatever works. And for your efforts, you get told it's game over. Oh well. We saw the true ending of Ghosts and Goblins. Next up is Kiss My Afro card with Castlevania. May he be successful with all of his Dracula crits.